This is an introduction into multiplication in algebra. Okay, so what do we mean to multiply in algebra? So if we do 2 multiplied by y, that is the same as writing 2y. If we do 3 multiplied by y, that is the same as doing 3y. In general, a multiplied by b is the same as ab. Now, if we have something like negative 2y multiplied by negative 3, I'm going to put this in brackets, you should know that a negative multiplied by a negative is a positive, so we're going to get 6y. Here we say that the 6 is the coefficient, so I'm just going to write c, and we can say that y is the variable, I'm just going to write v. And we are familiar with what coefficient and variable means. Okay, so let's just extend what we mean by a power. Okay, now if we've got v squared, that means v multiplied by v. What about v cubed and v to the 4 and v to the 5 and v to the 6? Well, if we have a power, that means that the variable is multiplied by itself. V times v times v. V times v times v times v. V times v times v times v times v. V times v times v times v times v times v. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So let's work with what we've done here and let's try multiplying some variables which are different. So let's have a go at multiplying 2v multiplied by 3m. And let's try 3a multiplied by 3b. And let's try multiplying 3x multiplied by 5y. So you can pause the video and have a go at these. So 2 times 3 is 6, and we've got a v and an m. 3 times 3 is 9, we've got an a and a b. And we've got 3 times 5 is 15, and we've got x and a y. Okay, so hopefully you can multiply terms together. So have a go at doing these and pause the video. Okay, so hopefully you've done that now, and I would like you to mark your work and give yourself a score out of 10. Okay, so let's go back to multiplying. And we're now going to multiply variables together with powers. So let's imagine we had another set of variables, but this time we had powers on them. So let's assign these powers. Okay, now we can do 2 times 3 is 6, and we've got v squared m cubed. They don't change. 3 times 3 is 9, we've got a to the 4 b squared. We've got 3 times 5 is 15, x to the 5, y to the 6. They don't change because they're not like terms, they're different. Let's show some examples where they do change. So let's do 2m multiplied by 3m. Let's do 2m multiplied by 3v multiplied by m multiplied by v. let's do 2m times 4m squared. Let's do m squared times m cubed. Let's do m times m squared times m cubed times 3m to the 4. Now, these may look like complicated questions, but in fact, they're simpler than they look. Let's multiply the numbers together first. 2 times 3 gives 6, and then we've got m to the power of 1 multiplied by m to the power of 1, which is m squared. The coefficients of m here are 1, the coefficient of v is 1, so let's multiply all the numbers together. So we've got 2 times 3 is 6, 6 times 1 is 6, and 6 times another 1 is 6. Now, this is where we need to be careful. We have got an m and an m and a v and a v. As we said in a previous slide, we know that m times m is m squared. Just add the powers together. V times v is v squared also, because we just add the powers together. So let's do the letters here. We've got 2 4s are 8 m cubed, because we add the powers together. This gives m to the 2 plus 3, which is m to the 5. And this gives m to the 1 plus 2 is 3, plus another 3 is 6, plus a 4 is 10. Okay, so hopefully you are proficient in multiplying terms where we have more than one term. Let's do 3 more examples and pause the video, and then you can have a go at doing an exercise. Okay, so pause the video. Let's do 2a plus 3b multiplied by 2a, and let's do 3m times n times 4m times n squared. So pause the video and have a go at doing these. Okay, so hopefully you've done that now. Let's multiply the numbers together. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. And we've got a squared b. Let's multiply the numbers together then. We've got 1's as coefficients here. So we've got 3 times 1 is 3 times 12 times 1. So we've got like terms here, and we've got like terms here. Let's do the m's. M times m is m squared. And we've got n to the power of 1 multiplied by n squared, which is n cubed. So let's have a go at doing this exercise, and then mark your work at the end. Okay, so hopefully you've done that now. So let's have a look at the answers. So mark your work out of 10, and we'll say 10 out of 10. Very well. So let's have a look at dividing terms. Now, dividing terms is a little bit different because there's different formats. So for example, 6a divided by 3 can be written 2 ways. These mean the same thing. Now, and I want you to pause the video and write 2 to 5 using the division sign. So basically, you're writing these quotients in a different way. Off you go. Okay, so hopefully you've done that now. So that is 6a divided by a, 6a divided by 3a, 6x divided by x, and then we've got x divided by x. Okay, I prefer writing these like this because it's easier to simplify and cancel terms. but it's important that you can recognize that they are equivalent. So let's have a go at simplifying the first one. Okay, so 6 divided by 3 is 2, and we're left with an A. A divided by A is 1, so we're just left with 6. And if you see what you're doing here, when you're multiplying, say for instance we multiply A times A, we add the powers to get A squared. When we are dividing, what do you think we do to the powers if multiplication and division are inverses? We subtract the powers, so we get 1 minus 1, A to the 0, which is 1. So now we do 6 divided by 3 is 3, and we've got A to the 0, and that's just 3. Same thing for 4, which is just 6, and the same thing for 5. So let's have a look at some more examples of dividing terms. You can pause the video. Let's do 5 examples. Let's do 10a divided by 2. Let's do 10 divided by 2a. Let's do 10ab divided by ab. Let's do 10a squared b squared divided by 2ab. And let's finish off with a slightly more difficult one. Let's do 12x squared y squared divided by 6x. So pause the video and have a go at these, and then wait for the solution. Okay, so hopefully you've done that now. 10 divided by 2 is 5, and we have an a on the numerator. Here we're going to divide numerator and denominator by 2. Well, the numerator gives 5, denominator gives 1, and it's more elegant just to write 5 over a. Here we can divide by a, divide by a. So 10ab divided by a just gives 10b. The same for the denominator, ab divided by a just gives b. Then we can divide by b to give 10 over 1. I hope everybody is comfortable with the fact that a divided by a is 1. That's asking how many times does a fit into a. You can show that using powers by doing 1 minus 1 is a to the 0, which is 1. So let's have a go at doing 9. We can divide numerator and denominator by 2 to get a squared b squared over ab. And then we can divide by a, numerator and denominator, and divide by b, numerator and denominator. And I hope you can recognize that that is the same as dividing numerator and denominator by ab. If we do that, we're just going to be left with ab. So I've given you 2 different methods now of simplifying by dividing terms. We can either say, well, 10 divided by 2 is 5, and we're left with an a, or we can say, let's divide denominator and numerator by 2, but 10 divided by 2 is 5, we are left with an a, 2 divided by 2 is 1, it's more elegant just to write our solution as 5a. Okay, so I'm going to use 2 methods here. I'm just going to divide straight away, and then I'm going to show the divisions similar to what I did here. So let's do that then. 12 divided by 6 is 2. X squared divided by x is x. And then we are left with y squared. Now I hope you're comfortable with the fact that x squared divided by x is x. We get that by subtracting the powers, which is just x. So let's now divide numerator and denominator by 6x, 6x. So we are left with 2xy. We're just left with 1. It's more elegant just to leave an answer like this. Okay, so let's have a go at doing these questions. I've got some difficult questions in red, so please at the very least do questions 1 to 16 and then to 17 to 18, and then we look at the solutions. So pause the video. Hopefully you've done that now, so let's have a look at the solutions. Pause the video and mark your work. And give yourself a mark out of 19. Now, I've got some challenge questions. Now, these are not compulsory, but if you really want to test your understanding of dividing terms in algebra, have a go at doing these, and then I will go over the solution. Okay, hopefully you've done that now. And the solution is down the bottom here. Okay, so a little explanation of 20. So basically what I've done is 4 divided by 2 is 2. A squared divided by A is just A. B squared is just left alone because there's no B's down the bottom. Okay, so 2 over 8 just simplifies to a quarter. We got A cubed divided by A squared, which is just A. And then we're left with B down the bottom. Now we can multiply straight out, or we can perform a simplification. 2 over 4 is just the same as half, which is 1 over 2. A times A is A squared, and B squared divided by B is just B. Okay, so go over the rest of the solution, and if you don't understand anything, please ask me in school. Okay, good luck, and you should be reasonably proficient now in dividing terms, and the next video is going to be looking at the distributive method and expanding brackets.